Mr. Smith.
Yeah, what's up? What's good? What's happening? Welcome to the King and Me show. I'm one half of the Steam King,
Hey y'all, it's me, Michelle. How y'all doing?
and we are live in full effect back in Studio Charlie as we do this live stream here where Michelle and I try and offer a real outlook on a healthy relationship, real being relatable,
Entertaining
accountable,
and loving.
So we have a couple of things to do marketing wise, catch y'all up on what's been going on before we get into the meat of today's topic. So marketing wise, we are on all the platforms: YouTube, Facebook, X,
Twitch,
and something.
Yeah,
One of those things.
Something else.
If there's a like button on the platform, do us a favor. Hit that like button, all right? As that definitely supports this show and gets us, up there on the algorithms. That's the algorithm over here. All right? What else we got? We are also on Perry Productions Facebook page. Shout out to the homie for allowing us to stream on his platform, brother. We give you a salute as that really helps us out a lot. So let's just jump right into it. Let's tap in first of all with what we just went through this past last couple of days. All right.
You want to do that first or the other thing first?
Let's do the other thing first.
Okay.
Lead it, please.
All right. So as we were driving back from
Sorry. I didn't want it to be on there the entire time. And then you'd be like, why didn't you say something? I am so sorry. As we were driving back.
And King will tell you shortly what we were driving back from. But as we were driving back, we saw on the news that the one and only James Earl Jones has gone on to be with the ancestors. If you are not familiar with who James Earl Jones is, shame on you, because he was, past tense, was a phenomenal actor. He was the voice of Mufasa.
Say it again.
Mufasa. In Lion King. He was in Coming to America. Like, come on, he's the king from Coming to America. He was that voice that, we always would say there's some things that you need James Earl Jones because it's that powerful, robust voice, and then other things where you need Samuel L. Jackson because he gonna come in there with a high level of profanity and MF his way through something, and it'll just be wonderful. But that was him. He did stage plays. He was in a series of things. He was in Star Wars.
Coming to America was one of my favorite roles.
I mean, he was in The Hunt for Red October. Like, y'all got to get down with his whole not filmography, because he was in so many different things. And y'all, at the wonderful ripe age of 93, he has gone on home to be with the ancestors. So we salute him. We salute his career, the legacy that he leaves behind. We thank him for all of his contributions to the wonderful things that we have been able to watch. Thank you so much, Nicole. I'm sorry, I don't have on glasses. Nicole, thank you so much for that comment. He was a phenomenal actor, and he will be sorely missed. And to think that there is a new version of Lion King, Mufasa, that's coming out later on this year, and to know that he won't be at a film premiere is a little bit uneasy, but we are still, we want to take time to honor him. He was a phenomenal actor. Some wonderful roles that he played in definitely paid homage to the Black love era and so many things. But 93,
if you can live to be a good 93,
yeah, like
a good healthy 93,
that's a blessing.
That's a blessing.
That's a
for
blessing.
Sure.
So we honor him. We say thank you, Mr. Jones, for your career, for your sacrifice, because I know being in the public eye is not easy. It comes with a lot of praise, but also a lot of criticism. So thank you so much for what you have given to us. We cherish it and we honor you.
I say rest in peace. Michelle would probably say rest in
power.
You know what? I wasn't sure. We didn't practice that or anything, but I know.
But you know your woman.
I know my woman, and I know that that's her jam. So may he rest in peace and rest in power. All right. So we could have done today's whole episode on just what happened over this past weekend.
You know, we could have.
We actually could have.
We could still like revamp it and just like modify the title, because we can always fit something in. You and I are good at ad-libbing.
Let's just ad-lib and go from there.
Let's just ad-lib and go from there.
So this past weekend, Michelle and I traveled. For as much as we've done traveling, and people are like, man, it seems like y'all always going somewhere or doing something every weekend. Michelle and I took our first airplane ride together. And while we've been to Canada, that was by car from Maryland.
Yeah.
This time we went to Texas to honor.
This ain't Texas. We don't know the words. We don't know the words because we don't listen.
And we attended my ex-wife's sister's Army retirement. She served 25 years in our U.S. Army, and her entire family was there. All of her sisters, mom and dad, couple of cousins, uncles, and things like that. And the part that stood out to me on everything were the people that traveled all the way to Texas to go and visit her. We also had some friends that me and my ex-wife knew that came down from Kansas, about a 5-hour drive, to link up with us. And to me, that type of friendship right there isn't something that I take lightly at all. So I want to say thanks to the family that came down from Kansas to come and visit us. It was one of our first times seeing their young daughter, which time just flies, because when we met that couple, they didn't have a kid, and my daughter was 2 at the time. And we had a chance to meet their daughter, which Castle's about to graduate high school. She's a senior this year. And their daughter, I think, is somewhere between 2 and 3. She's 3. She's 3. So just, it was just one of those full circle moments that was really cool and thankful for. And for the, so my sister, because I still call her my sister, she's always been respectful, courteous, generous, and things like that. Very nice, very friendly. Some people asked if it was awkward with Michelle coming and everything. And I'm like, no, her family has always shown love. But can we talk about it?
We can, but I do want to highlight for a moment that we have Nicole who is popping in, and she is from Texas.
If you don't mind sharing what part, we went to Fort Worth area, and we bounced between Fort Worth and Frisco. We didn't necessarily go into Dallas,
which is funny because everyone kept asking Michelle, where are you going? Where are you going? Miss Early, where are you going? And I was like, oh, I'm going to Dallas. Turns out I was never in Dallas, not one moment this weekend.
So let me tell y'all, Texas showed us some love. Everywhere we went, people were nice. Folks were extra friendly. And in Maryland, you just don't see that often. So it's refreshing. We even made a comment. We heard not one car horn blown
the whole time. Oh my gosh. So I am born and reared in Maryland. I'm from Baltimore. That's where I got my driver's license. I'm used to hearing a horn honk like every 20 seconds. We saw some wild stuff. We even saw a low-key, was it a motorcycle?
A motorcycle was running from the cops our first night coming off the airport and going into town. That was hilarious.
And we saw all of this and never heard a horn honk, not one time. We back in Maryland for a solid 20 minutes. we hear
horns
going off. Man.
So like it's one of those things that I've never really liked it here in Maryland. My top 2 states to live once my daughters graduate, if I were to stay stateside, has been Florida is number 1 and Texas is number 2. And she's looking at me because she's like, hey, maybe this Texas trip can get King to move that on up to number 1. Look, Texas showed some love. Florida's just number 1 because of some of my homies. If my homies up there move to Texas,
you know what? Send them this and tell
them
to move to Texas.
Hey, she said she's from North Dallas area, close to Frisco. That's
no, we
what's
were
up.
in Frisco, so we
That's
were in
what's
Frisco.
up.
We were never technically in Dallas, but that's awesome.
Hey, what up? My cousin's in the building. She said, where we from?
Yeah.
North Carolina.
Come on and raise up. Take your shirt off. Spin it around your head. No one remembers that song?
Yeah. It's just that, I was going to let you jam by yourself.
Oh, dang it. Why?
So,
with me. Okay.
As we go into that, Michelle was a little bit nervous.
I was.
She was nervous.
Okay.
Can you tell why you were nervous?
I was about to say, so, all right. So, in all fairness, King and I, we have known each other for 2 years. We are coming up on our 2-year anniversary as a couple next month. Wow, it hits like home the next month is October. Okay.
It is, yeah.
Sorry. So we're coming up on our 2 years as a couple next month. And he has been divorced from his wife for a little over 5 years, right? Like it was April
2019.
April 2019. So it's one thing to have met his family and to like, I don't know, women, can you help me out with this? I feel, and this is my personal thing, I feel like when, like, I'm kind of low-key competing against the history that he has with his ex-wife, because not only were they married for 14 years, but they've known each other since like middle school or something like that. So we're talking about 25, 26 years or something that he has known her. Her family has known him. Their families have known each other. And I feel like an outsider because I have 2 years of history. And, okay, we'll say the I word that's on the tip of our tongue. It was a little bit of insecurity going in there. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So how is this going to work? It is his former sister-in-law's retirement party and I'm the new girlfriend. Like how does this work? I sat in anxiety all week long.
And I didn't understand it.
He couldn't process it. He couldn't understand it. He's understanding like what anxiety looks like for me in other situations. Shout out to Inside Out too. But he couldn't process like how I was feeling anxious about that. And for me, as someone who has general anxiety disorder and OCD and ADHD, anxiety presents itself in a very unique way with me. And it's one of the ways that it presents is that I try to control everything. So, all the way from like Thursday night when King was packing for the trip, it's okay. So this is how we should pack our clothes. Like this is how we should roll it. And this is what we should do. Like, why are you trying to check luggage when you can just do carry-on? Let's go to Target and buy the luggage that you need to be able to do. Like it was just trying to control and not necessarily micromanage, but you know how we always say control, but you can control. So it was like those little things that I was like, okay, if I can control this, then that's fine that I can't control how they're going to respond to me.
So the setup way before that was I'd asked my sister-in-law, how does that work out? What do you...
So she was your sister-in-law. She's your former sister-in-law. Okay. However, I never heard former or in-law used not one time all weekend long. Yeah, because we just go sis. Yeah, so your sister.
So I had asked her prior if it was okay if she came. I was going regardless. I was going.
Let me just say
that. Michelle could have stayed up, but in Maryland. I was going. And I didn't have any issues with Michelle coming. I assumed that would work. You would not be able to get off.
Oh, I did.
So I didn't bother asking her. But the lady that was going through the retirement, she asked me if Michelle was coming. And that's what prompted me to go. I never asked her. right? It's not that I thought that it was weird or anything like that. It was just I didn't think that she'd be able to get off work. So
I'm a teacher. Of course I will do.
So the person going through the retirement did prompt me to ask Michelle. Michelle took the time off, and I never thought it was going to be awkward or anything weird about it whatsoever. But in my opinion, babe, you added those pounds of feathers on your chest before anything even occurred. And I'm just like not understanding why. Because as her mansis, I'm doing everything that I can do to alleviate the things because I want her to just focus on the moment, right? Focus on us traveling, focus on the fact that we went first freaking class.
We're flying first class.
Flying down there.
Popping water bottles. Yes.
And I was doing first class whether she was coming or not. These are things that I've gotten to a point in my life where I've worked hard. So I'm going to play hard a little bit. And when she said she was coming, again, I'd already had the hotel. I'd already had the rental car. When she said she was coming, I'd already bought my ticket too. So I'm like, crap. I got my first class ticket using points. And I'm like, well, if she's coming, I could cover her first class ticket. I ain't going to say I didn't want to, but I started thinking about everything else I could have done with the money. But everything went great. Michelle was shown love by everybody that was there. And once I think she saw the love from the family and everything, that weight, that those feathers came off. And I'm like, thank goodness, because I could not understand why she couldn't just relax.
All right. How many of y'all have seen Inside Out 2? Okay. So in Inside Out 2, we get introduced to some new emotions as the main character is entering into teenagehood. And one of those main characters was anxiety. Okay. Anxiety is something that, for the most part, some people can't control. And it's especially worse when someone has general anxiety disorder. So, like, it's a legit disorder where I perceive things are going to be significantly worse than they are. In fact, my mind justifies it by saying, if I can assume the worst of this situation, then when the worst happens, it's not a surprise to me. And it'll hurt me a lot less if I assume that this is going to be the worst and it turns out to actually be the worst. I'm protected more than if I assumed for the best and hoped for the best and then it turned out to be horrible.
I just got 2 words for you. Chill out. Plain and simple. You with me, babe. Things is going to be all right.
So, it's so funny that we joke and we say that, but yet there is some level of truth in that, because there are some things that I worry about that you're just like, it's okay. It's fine. It'll be okay. There's nothing wrong. And then there are other things that you think about that I'm just like, it's no biggie. We're good. Like, I think about your birthday trip and you were concerned about the rain. Like, you literally posted on Facebook that you were afraid about the rain. Yes. And I was like, it's going to be fine. And I said that. I even responded on Facebook and said, it's going to be fine, babe. We're going to make the best of your birthday no matter what. And we ain't getting no rain. Just want to put that out there.
Yes.
You were also concerned about this weekend.
What about this week? Oh,
the weather.
With the weather. Now, but there's a difference though. Going into triple digit temperatures, like that was more just complaining just to complain. But for my birthday weekend, money was spent for a beach, and I didn't want to come out that money if we were going to be inside and we couldn't experience the beach because it was going to be raining all weekend. That was my concern about that. That was a genuine concern. But Texas was just me complaining because it was triple digits for a while, but when we got there, it was down in the 80s.
And see, I told you not to worry about it. Everything would be okay, and everything was okay for both trips.
Okay.
He worries about some things, I worry about others.
So all of that being said, we got through the trip. I think it was a learning thing for both of us, and we still together, like they said on the Living Color.
Together.
We had a couple of comments here that I want to highlight. Tarika said that it makes sense, Queen. We women do try to compete.
Yeah, and sometimes it can be very much out there, very much assertive in our competition, and then the others assertive, aggressive, or sometimes it can be passive aggressive, very subtle things that you wouldn't necessarily notice. And I'm not saying any of that happened this weekend. In fact, I'm saying the exact opposite.
Yeah.
None of that happened.
None of it
this
happened.
weekend.
Everybody was respectful. Everybody
Yeah.
showed love. I mean, it was dope. The fact that people made specific action points to ensure you were included, I thought was really dope. Like, I was like, really can't ask for anything more from this situation.
And I will 100% agree with you, King, but I will also say we don't know that going into situations.
Yes, true. However, I stand on this. I stand on it.
I'm standing on business.
I will never put you in a position where you're around people that I believe would do that, A. And B, like, I don't associate myself with people like that. Period. Like, if I know somebody's a rude, disrespectful person, I don't tolerate that for myself. And I'm not going to have you in a position that that's going to be a thing that should happen to you because of how that person is, especially if I know that somebody's going to be that way. So one of the things that Michelle and I talked about, trust me, trust that I won't put you in a bad position. Trust that I won't have you around somebody that is going to be rude or disrespectful or come at you sideways for whatever. Like, trust that the people that I involve myself with aren't petty, aren't those type of people. And that's why, like, when my sister asked if you were coming, I was like, well, I didn't ask her, but if it's okay if she could come, like, I'll ask her. And I didn't hesitate or think twice about it because I know that my ex-wife, family, and everybody that's associated with that nucleus of people that was coming, they're all rock solid people.
And they were. So I do want to recognize, and please, I apologize if I mispronounce your name. I do want to recognize what Alicia said, that she's been there and you just have to be confident. And it did take a while. And I'm going to be honest, for some things, and I wrote about it in my blog today, for some things I take in through a filter of past hurt and pain where things didn't necessarily work out that positively. And that is one thing that we do talk about this on this show, that especially when you are approaching a new relationship, you can't take the hurt from past relationships into that new relationship. But I'll be honest in saying that, past situation, sorry, I had an itch. Past situations have caused me to not always trust that people are going to be kind to me, because some of the people, like when friends and stuff hurt me, it is what it is. But the greatest hurts I have ever encountered in my life came from family. Okay. So it is very hard for me to be trusting of people.
Let's see. Chris over on Facebook said, met my birth parents for the first time in 2017, and they welcomed and included Kathy and everything, and it was just so nice. So Kathy's his wife. Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. I mean, we've talked about it on different episodes, right? Like, let's say my folks didn't really bang with Michelle like that. As long as I loved and respected her, I really don't care what they say. Now, it would mean that that's going to be less interactions, that everybody's going to be around each other. But guess who's okay with that? This guy. If my folks didn't like Michelle, and let's say her folks didn't like me, that's okay. If we're not going to be showing up to family traditions or the traditional holiday events and stuff because they wouldn't like me or vice versa, it's all cool. Guess who Michelle and I have decided that all we need is these people for this relationship to be happy and work out? Each other.
Damn.
And I would not feel any type of way if she wasn't accepted because of whatever. Now, there is a caveat to that. Let's say you had done something in the past that you was like notorious for. I might be like, I know she ate those people allegedly, but I'm joking. I'm joking. All right. I saw Jason in the building said Guten Morgen, which is good morning from Germany. Hey, I don't know what time it is there, but I appreciate you tuning into our live stream from Germany. The King and Me show is international.
We international, baby.
We international. He also said, absolutely, Michelle. Would you say that the majority of people carry pain into new relationships? We talk about this often.
And I will say yes.
Go ahead.
I will say a lot of people carry pain. It looks different. I'm going to say men carry it as equally as women carry it. And I don't care if Jason and King disagree with me. I believe that men and women equally carry pain from past relationships into their previous relationship, into their current relationships, but it just looks different. It presents itself differently. And I will also say that the pain can be different. So it can be, a lesson learned, and now you're carrying that learned lesson into your new relationship. So, one thing I've talked about openly, one of my exes, when he and I lived together, I am a neat freak, and he was not on that level of neatness. So did we get into like some difficult conversation? Friction. There we go. Did we have some friction because I like things clean and he didn't? Sure did. So that was a pain, right? And he did carry that into his next relationship to the point where he and the woman he's currently with would have some friction because he would clean meticulously and she wasn't about that life. So it's not even a bad thing per se, but that is still something that he carried from our relationship into his new relationship. So I believe men and women equally carry hurt and pain from their previous relationships into their current. It just looks different. And I see the face that Mr. Smith is making. And I don't even have to be looking at Jason to know that he's also making the face saying that he vehemently disagrees with me. And that's fine. I will stand on this hill all by myself. And that is fine.
Jason did add something that I do want to touch on. He said, let Castle have a problem. It's funny that we hold more stock in how our kids feel about our new partner than our parents. And it's because, oh man, the kids have more impact. And that is a wrinkle because...
But that's not what you said when we first started dating.
What'd I say?
When we first started dating, you said it wouldn't have mattered if no one else did.
Right. It wouldn't including my kid. Yes, comma. However, it does make it, I think the kids not like it makes it harder. It adds more friction to the possibility of you and I attempting to build, or whoever, right? That couple with kids attempting to build. And we would have to have a strong, solid foundation with no insecurities coming into it for that relationship to work. Did I foot stomp that by accident? My bad. I didn't mean to do that.
You're fine. But so that leads me to a question, because I know one thing that I've mentioned to you, I don't know if we've said it on air, but I've mentioned that when it came, I think we did, when we were talking about the whole step parenthood and stuff, and I talked about television shows and movies that I had watched growing up where the potential stepmother was always like pushed out and everything by the child and stuff like that. What does it look like for a person to come in and be dating someone, but the child doesn't like them? Like, what does that look like? Can you talk about what some of those difficulties would be?
From what I've observed with peers of mine, I know that has had that happen. Mm-hmm. So from a man standpoint, I have two peers in particular that I'm thinking about, that the relationship with the new person coming into the picture didn't turn out well, even though those men tried everything to safeguard some stuff because they didn't want the new lady replacing their mama, so to speak. Right. So the kids were younger, and every time that the new lady would come into the picture, come into the fray, they were crying, they were being disrespectful. And what I observed in that was, now you're shifting time from having to discipline the kids instead of building that relationship with that significant other.
Mhm.
So if you're, and in these two instances particular, the men were the primary caretaker. So it's not like they're in this new relationship and only with that person when they didn't have the kids. No, they had the kids full time.
Yeah.
So there was no opportunity unless a babysitter came or whatever for them to just work on building themselves minus the kids. And in both situations, the fathers had to compete with their kids, feeling some type of way about this new woman coming into the fray. And in both times, they said, man, I had my little daughter tell me that she doesn't want X to be their mom because that's not my mom. That's not my mommy. And it got so bad that in both situations, the women found it difficult to continue the relationship, so they dipped out because, and almost word for word, both different women in those separate relationships said they could not find it in their heart to love on him, knowing that the kids didn't like him.
Mm.
And and they all said that they tried everything, thinking that I could will this through, give it time, discipline the kids, make her feel okay. And I remember one person saying it was like, man, I was spinning plates, but my plates was spinning fine. I was spinning a lot on them, but they were spinning fine, and yet it still didn't work out. So I'd be curious to know, for people out there, if y'all think that it'd be worth it. Would you, as somebody, try to get into a new relationship with someone if your kids just didn't bang with that new person? Let us know.
So yeah, that's a question I'd be interested in knowing, and we have a lot of comments to go through. I want to say one of the first ones goes back to Jason.
Which one do you want to highlight? This one?
Yeah.
All right. So Jason said, I would say that men numb their pain from past relationships, but women embrace it and hold on to it in different ways. Well, they embrace it, hold on to it, and then inflict it on the next person.
But men do it too. Men do it too. It just
but it's
looks
worse
different
when women do it.
It's worse because y'all say it's worse.
Because it is.
It's not. It's equal. It is equal. You, sir, take a lot of what happened in your previous relationship out on me, even though it's not necessarily warranted.
And we've talked about this. Yeah. I disagree.
And you're going to disagree.
There's reasons for it. Because I would say, well, it's not just my prior relationship. It's learning that there are things that come from a relationship that you learn that you won't tolerate.
But that's what I'm saying. That is past pain that you're carrying into your current. It doesn't have to be bad. But that's what I said. The pain doesn't have to be bad. It's a lesson learned. But whatever, you're carrying something from your past into your present, into your current.
If I know a stove is hot and I've touched a hot stove before, I'm not going to want to touch a hot stove a second time to see if it's still going to burn me or
and
not.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that at all. That's 100% true. That's why I don't touch irons anymore, because apparently they're hot. But no, that's what I'm saying. That's still something that you had to learn that you're carrying into your current relationship. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, but what I am saying is that we all, men and women, equally, but it looks different, carry stuff from our past relationships into our current relationships. If that weren't true, then you would allow things that happened in your previous relationships to happen in this current relationship.
That logically makes no sense, though.
It does make sense. Okay, so stove. Let's stick to your stove analogy. Uh-huh. So the stove is hot. You've gone over to it. You touched it. You realized it was hot. It burned you. Not carrying that pain at all means that you come again, the stove is hot a week later, and you go and touch it. You keep doing it over and over again because you're not accepting it or realizing anything that has happened from what happened in the past. But because you have accepted it, you've accepted that stove red means hot. you're not going to continue to do it. You're not going to allow that to continue to happen to you. And that is still carrying something good or bad from your previous relationship.
Then, yeah. Okay, but you make it seem like carrying stuff from a previous relationship's all bad.
I literally said good or bad.
Yes.
Good or I said it like I said that. Right?
Maybe I didn't hear it.
I said it over and over again. I said good or bad. We all carry stuff from our previous relationship.
Okay.
It just looks different. Men and women equally do. It just looks different.
All right, I can bang with that. That makes sense. That makes sense. I had to hear certain keywords. So the homie Chris pointed out that his wife carried a lot of pain going into their relationship as there were a lot of problems in the past. She often tells me she wishes we met sooner, which oddly enough, when he went to Saks, which is where him and I graduated from, she lived in Weaver at the time, and their dads worked together on Fort McClellan, the old Army base. Hey, it's a small world, man. It is a small world. You never know how intricate people are weaved into each other's lives and things like that. One of my neighbors when I moved down here is somebody that I went to high school with, that we just so happened to run across each other in completely different states. Let's see. Oh, wow. Couple of comments. Tarika said that it's equal. Jason said it's not equal. And I'm with Jason.
Oh, here we go. We just talked about it. I
can't. All right. Let's see, man.
He also said this story is a clip. I talked so much I don't remember which part he said, but he said something was a clip.
The stove burns you and you say, I don't want stoves in my house ever again. Get rid of all the stoves.
But that's a lesson that you learned that you're carrying into your next relationship. So you get into a new relationship and you're like, well, we can't have any stoves in here because this happened.
I think for the most part, what I selectively heard was the bad stuff carries over from a personal relationship and that shapes you. But if I were to rephrase, you're saying that you learn things from past relationships, good and bad, and you carry those good and bad things over. And how you view those things impact the decisions and choices that you make, which I'll raise my hand and say, yes, I have carried good and bad things from prior relationships. What I will say is that I try not to have the bad things that's carry over affect you. Like for example, no, I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to do that. Let's just say I try not to make the bad things from my prior relationship something that I hold you to as well. But I have talked about things that I don't tolerate, and that just comes from learning what I won't tolerate. Good conversation.
Just saying. I was right. And thank you, Jason, for saying you heard me.
Now, let's break this up a bit.
Okay.
And I'm going to bring up a picture.
Picture time.
And I'm going to get your thoughts on it. So Michelle has not seen this photo. I'm going to bring it up on the screen here so the viewers can see it. And I can see it as well. And y'all tell me what y'all think. So Michelle, open your eyes.
1, 2, 3, or
go. Just go. So this says, shower together is so overrated. You really be in my way. So
show my face.
Hold on. Yep. I'm bringing it down. Fellas, my lady, I'm sure I ain't the only one. Ladies be like, let's shower together and do all this stuff. And I'm like, no. Unless you got a big shower area with dual heads and all this and that, one person gonna be getting all the water. She like it on 1,000 degrees hot. And I'm just like, why does water got to be hot? Are you trying to burn the evil off of you? I don't understand it. And my daughter is FaceTiming me while we live. Let me hit this button. And then you, please, go into the conversation.
First of all, it is not that hot. The water is not that hot. Mm-hmm. Just because it's all the way up to as hot as it can go does not mean it's that hot. Mm-hmm. Second of all, but y'all can handle everything else, but y'all can't handle that? Y'all can't handle a little heat?
It ain't about that. The choices that men make in life are so that they can live long lives.
And obviously we live long lives because we take hot showers.
No, y'all live long lives because us men carry on the additional stresses that the world beats up into us every day. So when we come home, all we want is a good lukewarm shower so that things won't be that bad. That's all I'm saying. What are you looking at?
Something that Cassie sent.
Okay. So, fellas, it's overrated, right? It is definitely overrated. I'm not trying to be in the shower at the same time unless I'm trying to sneak one in real quick. And that's like the only alone time that we can get. That's all I'm saying.
Hater. Y'all are all haters because I saw Jason's little comment too.
What did he say? Yep. Shower time is so overrated. No, get in, do your thing, take care of what you got to do. Then when you get done, I'm going to come in afterwards. I'm going to do my thing. It is what it is. No.
Jason, I see your comment down here about the PTSD, but that's what I'm saying. That's why you need a woman. She can catch you. Like, she'll help catch you before you fall or something.
Like he said,
you'll be fine.
Women be shower hogs.
You'll be fine. Don't worry about that stuff.
Women be shower hogs. 100%.
Wait a minute. Alicia agreed.
What?
Alicia, you're supposed to be on my side.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No. You're supposed to be on my side.
Tootsie roll. Tootsie roll to the left, to the left, to the right, to the right. She said, showering together is so overrated. I need my space. And my hubby say I can throw some carrots and potatoes in there because it be cooking. Exactly. I come out there feeling like a whole sauna session just happened. Like, what is we doing?
You're welcome. Saunas are good for you.
What are we doing?
Saunas are good for you.
Can you go while I make sure that my daughter's okay?
So yes, and I responded to the thing, so it should be fine. I think I know why.
Okay.
That's why. But it's okay.
Is that negative?
Yes.
Okay, good. So pause a second. Can we announce what occurred? Or should we not?
Up to you.
Okay. So we did this traveling. Going back to the beginning of the live stream, we did the traveling. Michelle had asked if we could wear masks while traveling through the airports or whatnot.
Because Michelle has OCD.
And I'm like, mask? I ain't wearing no mask.
Let me tell you, y'all, he barely did too, because that mask was a struggle.
But I'm glad I did, right? Because there was some people traveling and things like that, hacking and going about. Well, when we get back, the person that we were going to celebrate, who was doing the retirement, tested positive for COVID and is also having symptoms. And we're like, well, that sucks. And we were hoping that like it wasn't us that brought it over from the traveling and things like that. So we were going to take a test and make sure that we don't test positive for it. As look, say what you want about the beer virus, whatever. I know some people, it's a hoax and all this other stuff, and we're past it. Not so healthy people are leaving this earth because of it. So yeah. But
so it's still like still mass season. I will say I had a student who came in, I think on Wednesday, and said she wasn't feeling like 100% herself. And I wore a mask all last week because I was like, I'm coming into every situation healthy. Over the summer when I went to Alabama, I did not wear a mask and I came back coughing, and I chalked it up to allergies because the pollen count is ridiculously high. I'm allergic to everything. And when I travel, I'm more likely to eat things that I'm allergic to than if I stay home and, don't do those types of things. So I was a little bit more, cautious this time, especially since I knew that we were traveling through Atlanta Airport. And Atlanta Airport is the world's busiest airport. So there are always people coming from all over the world. And I just wanted to make sure I was healthy and not bringing anything around anybody.
I'm going to throw this out there too. If you're going to be flying, whether it's one time in 5 years, paying the money for Clear and TSA pre-check, absolutely worth it. Absolutely worth it. Get it for you. Get it for you and your family. That's a travel hack that we're just going to throw out there. The lines are a lot shorter. You don't have to go through the hassle of taking off your jacket and shoes and belts and everything like that. Just spend the money, get you clear, get you TSA pre-check.
Get global entry, because like that's the next thing on my list.
That's the next thing, since we're going to be doing some international travel next year, is just spend the money and have that stuff. Now, I'm going to just put my pinky up in the air. I'm bougie because my American Express Platinum card gets all of that for free. My bad. My bad. Hey, I'm just putting it out there. All right. Tarika also said that she likes her water hot too. Look, Tarika, why? Why are y'all burning y'all skin? Are y'all like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, where the hot water just isn't gonna have an effect? You know what? There's a reason why Eve bit the apple.
You know what? Obviously, Adam did too. He was standing right there, right there, and bit it. And now, the fruit, not necessarily apple.
I have something else that I want to bring up here that I thought was interesting. Folks have talked about this in other areas, and I think this is showing proper. So, Michelle, you can't see this, but it's the cuffing season schedule. Now, this kind of fits into our timeline a bit because we met in August.
We did. We met on August 6th.
Okay. There was a little draft period, trial section.
Literally during the football season, we were drafting.
Yep. All right. So when it says, trials, we became more of a thing in October.
I did go out on the date with that one guy.
Yep. And then let's see. It goes into preseason is pretty much November. Cuffing season goes from December 1st through the middle of January. You got your championship game going through the playoffs and getting into Valentine's Day. And then it comes into spring break, the way you go, do I really like this person or not, or was this just a fling? To where around the middle of April, you go cuffed or uncuffed.
And we chose to stay cuffed.
So we got into our relationship in October. And when would you think it was? When would you call it like, okay, this is actually for real, for real?
You and I are going to have 2 different times for this.
Let's go.
I thought it was for real in probably about September.
That's
September 22.
That's confidence.
Gotta have it. I got it some places.
That is confidence. We met in August of 2022. This woman done up here and told Al Gore's internet that she was declaring me as her man before I even made a decision.
Oh, yeah. Around September 24th, 2022.
Yo.
But so that you all understand. Okay. So timeline story. Okay. King and I met, we were introduced on Saturday, August the 6th, 2022.
I'm glad you're putting these dates on wax so that I can go back and reference them.
Yes. So Saturday, August the 6th, 2022, we met at a get-together that was thrown just so that we could meet one another. We met. We almost didn't exchange numbers, but we did exchange numbers. And we set up a time to talk. A couple of days later, we were supposed to meet on Google Meet, and we had a whole little like Google Meet session. And where we were on for probably a little bit over an hour, just getting to know one another, talking, all that good stuff. And then we scheduled a outing, because it wasn't a date, it was an outing. We scheduled an outing to go out on Saturday, August the 13th, 2022. We went to Spinners, and we played table hockey. And it was at that moment where King declared that, at this point in his life, he's really not looking for anyone. So he wanted to just be friends. And I said, okay, bet. So after that, we were scheduled to go out to eat, but King was supposed to be going to do some mentoring with someone else. So we drove separately to Panera Bread to go meet up and to go eat. And then since we drove separately when we got there, he found out that his mentoring session got canceled. And since we were friends, I was like, well, you know what we should do? It's a beautiful day outside. Let's go down to DC. So we consolidated cars at his house. We went over he changed his clothes. So I came to his house on our first outing. He changed his clothes, got out of like the stuffy mentory clothes, changed. We went down to DC. We ended up on our first outing spending probably like 10 to 12 hours together, just hanging out. And I was loud and singing off key in the car because we were friends at that point. After that, we hung out every single week from that point on, whether it was Thursday night football or whether it was hanging out on the weekend, every single week.
I want to jump in here.
Sir.
And I want to point something out too. Everything was real low key, extremely low stakes. And I think that was good for our relationship because we didn't have to put on a front. There was no representative that showed up. And I'd gotten to a point in my life that I valued authenticity above really anything else, and hotness, being honest, open, and transparent. Shout out to the Real Precious. And I saw that early on in her too. So while I was busy, while I was doing things and stuff like that, I had also saw that she was open, she was honest, she was transparent, and I didn't get a representative from her. The Michelle that I bang with now is literally the same person I met the first night that her and I got together. That time going down into DC, she still sings off key to this day.
Okay.
Some
things we don't have to say.
You paid for the meal when we went to Bus Boys and Poets. And Michelle's still like, there's no expectation that I pay for everything, right? She's like, babe, I got this. I love those words. Babe, I got this. It's fantastic. That is one less thing off my plate. And you are still that same person. There's been nothing different about you now, good and bad, that was different from the time that you and I first met. So one of my key takeaways in our live stream today, and for people in general, be yourself, because if you choose to make a decision to be with somebody, don't overlook red flags.
Nope.
Accept that person for who they are, as long as you're assessing that is that genuine person. And I think a beautiful thing can come from it. Like, Michelle's awesome. I've also told her if she chooses to say, King, I don't want to be in this relationship, I'm going to say deuces. And it is what it is. Like, I can't make you love me. Love me. Love me. I think I was mashing two songs together.
Yeah, you were. Because there really is
you can't make me love.
No, there really is a song called I Can't Make You Love.
Oh.
It really is. It's more of a ballad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm way more off key than she is. We should not do karaoke, but we should.
But I'm going to.
But we should.
100%
yes.
should.
Hey, if anybody want to go do some karaoke, let us know.
Yeah.
We just might pull up. Let's see. Do we have any other comments before we go to the next thing?
Not right now.
No comments now.
But
all right,
no,
cool.
I knew Saturday, September 24, 2022.
Hey.
That you would be my boo.
I didn't.
My boo.
I did not.
Started when we were younger.
And for those of y'all that don't know, we still on a contract.
We are.
We haven't really had to make any amendments to the contract yet anyway. But we did say that as long as we could be honest about it, that we most certainly would. I'll take that.
I still love you.
Sometimes?
No, I'm pretty much all the time.
All the time? I'll take it. I'll take it.
Like, kind of, sort of, only on days that end in Y, though. Like, the other days, not really.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Let's see. Did I have anything else that goes with this? Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So,
okay.
We normally have a flow to our show. Today's a little bit different because we literally just got back in town.
Yeah.
Literally just got in town.
I yawn every week, but this week I'm yawning because I'm tired. Tired.
So there was a question that spawned a really good conversation. What's your favorite cereal? Now, I'm going to start off by sharing mine.
Just do one.
Just do one? If I were to pick one absolute favorite that I would buy every single time and I could eat every single breakfast and be okay with, it's Lucky Charms. Lucky Charms has the good mix of crunch and sweetness. And no matter what kind of milk you add into it, which I prefer to do the vanilla almond milk, right? Your boy lactose intolerant, so I can't bang with regular milk. Give me that vanilla almond into some Lucky Charms, and I'm gonna bang with those every single morning. What's your favorite cereal? And know that the relationship hinges on your response.
Okay.
Because if you say wheat bran, I may not know how long this gonna go. The floor is yours.
My favorite cereal is the one and only Fruit Loops.
Okay, we can go with Fruit Loops.
Yes.
Why Fruit Loops though?
Because it's fruity and it was a ring, and in my mind, I thought that every single color was a different flavor, and I liked how it turned the milk, the white milk, a different color later on. Plus, it was just good, and I felt like I was eating something healthy because it said fruit in it, even if it wasn't spelled fruit. It was fruit.
Oh man. Boy, people will find a reason to justify
Haters
something.
Gonna hate.
To get something.
Haters gonna hate. You putting Lucky Charms as your number one?
Yeah, but I didn't think Lucky Charms was healthy by nobody's standard.
I'm saying though, because it didn't have fruit in there. Mine had fruit in the title. That's just like Apple Jacks. It has to be some level of healthy because it has apple in the name.
Apple Jacks is number 3.
I can rock with Apple Jacks only if Fruit Loops aren't available.
Okay. Let me see if anybody put their favorite cereal in here. Hey, we got Apple Jacks.
We got an Apple Jacks. Awesome.
Or maybe she's laughing at our Apple Jacks. Hey,
I have the one. It's fine.
Hey,
we shouldn't even clarify because then we're going to find out the truth and we may have hurt feelings.
What's your favorite? I talked about you this weekend too, cuz. Just so you know. I talked about you. Nothing bad. It was actually really, really good. Really, really positive. Cuz right there that's commenting, she's awesome. A little bit older than I am. We don't get the chance to hang out as often because, life and everything, but whenever we do, it was like we just seen each other yesterday.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's family on my dad's side.
Awesome.
Yeah. I saw the photos that you had up of, I guess it was a reunion or something over this past weekend. Everybody looked great. You and your husband and everybody looked awesome. Both you, your brother, your pops and all that. So just wanted to acknowledge that. She said that Apple Jacks is her favorite.
Because they're good.
What are you hitting on? I don't know. It's an old debit card. Don't ask questions.
Wasn't there a cousin that you or a family member that you wanted to shout out because of something they did in the past?
I guess I should do it now. I won't say their names because I don't want to put their business out there like that.
Okay.
But I do want to acknowledge that I had a family member send me and Michelle $500 and said, I really love y'all's show. Take this, go out on a date and have fun. And I thought that was dope. This particular cousin, her and her husband's been married 35 or 36 years. Their kids are grown. So it's an older second cousin. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was dope because she had asked me what my CashApp was and said that she was going to send me a little something. She said, I love what you and Shell have going on. I think that what y'all are showcasing is real positive, and I'd like to send you something. I was like, all right, bet. I expected like $20, $40, and cousin sent $500. I didn't tell Michelle because I wanted to spend all of it on a new Apple 16. No. I didn't tell Michelle because I wanted it to be a surprise. I wanted her to be like, wait, what? Like when something, came up or whatnot, then I was going to tell her. and be like, hey, actually, this came from a family member specifically for us. And I told you how I would like to use it. There's a couple of other people that I want to bring in where they're other couples. They're all married. We like the only non-married couple that I know. Do you know any non-married couples that bang? None? Do y'all know any non-married couples that are like solid? People assume all the time that we married. I'm gonna tell you something. Even if we were married, it wouldn't have mattered into the Delta Sky Club because look, I could get into Delta Sky Club for free. She had to pay.
It would have mattered in some positions. Like I feel like we could have finagled some things, but that's like Delta Sky, which was nice.
Yeah, and that's another thing, another travel hack. There are certain if you fly with Delta a lot, you're able to use the Delta Sky Club or whatever. If you're an American Express Platinum holder, you also have access to it. Phenomenal lounge. Delta, y'all, that's a good thing. If I ever lose that, I'm going to be sad and never fly again. Just saying. I know that this episode we were supposed to talk about what if somebody came into a relationship with almost all of the things, but one thing was lacking. What would you do? Michelle and I did talk about that in some form in what's going to be our episode next week. Not next week. I'm going to be in town next week. We are going to be live next week. So 2 episodes from now, we are not going to be live.
Correct.
Because your boy's going to be down in Hotlanta. I'm going to be down in Hotlanta. Seeing what them dirty birds talking about down there. Learning some things actually for this show. I'm going to go down and get some tips from the one, the only Mr. Perry Production himself.
Yes.
And that's going to be a really good networking experience. And I'm definitely looking forward to that. Michelle is like, don't go. And I'm like, first of all, this is about business. Don't be interrupting business.
It's not about business primarily. That's not the main reason you go down there.
No, it ain't.
Get on this Al Gore's internet talking about something. It's about business. It ain't all about business.
Fun
it's
will
like
be had.
5% business, okay? 5% business.
It's higher than that.
It's 6% business. 6%.
But me and the homies are definitely going to link
Y'all are hanging out. Y'all about to get into some grown man-ish.
Might go catch a Falcons game.
See, look, like, and this is business. No.
It's networking. I'm going to be wearing the King and Me shirt everywhere I go. Hopefully somebody will be like, hey, so what's the King and Me? Well, the King and Me show is where me and my lady, Michelle, offer a real outlook on a healthy relationship.
That me and my lady.
Tune in every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern.
So funny, you said something, and it made me think, when we linked up with your friends from Kansas, shortly before we linked up with them, your friend was on speakerphone and was like, how should they... I don't know. I be getting random notifications. How should they address me? If you ever meet me in public, my name is Michelle. You can call me Shell. You can call me any version of that except for, what was it? Mish. I never really liked Mish growing up. I don't know why. I never liked that. But I just, say, hey, King's lady, like that works too. So I respond to all of that. But Shell is my favorite.
Okay. Look. Let's close out today's show.
Yes, because I'm sleepy.
Let's get you home, especially after traveling. We had a layover from DFW in Atlanta for a couple of hours. All of the places that we went to, staff was phenomenal. Staff was awesome. I definitely want to give a shout out to the USO as well. That's the United Services Organization. They usually have lounges at all of the big airports. And if you are military, Gold Star families, I believe, can use it. It's a great lounge to just relax and get away from the hustle and bustle of some of the major airports. So if there is a USO and you are eligible to use a USO at that airport, definitely go check it out. Support them as well. They strictly go off of donations, and they've always been staffed and funded, and
they were so sweet. There was a woman in there who was volunteering today, and she was literally went in the back making sandwiches. Like, when I tell you, y'all, she was in the back with like your Wonder Bread and like your your meat, your like it was so cute. It was so sweet.
She
So
had to been about 90 years old. Her name was likely Betty. She looked like a Betty.
She did look like a Betty.
She looked like a
Not
Betty.
gonna lie, she did
And
look
y'all,
like a Betty.
they straight up Southern Georgia accent, like that time where you can just be like, Miss Betty, I can listen to you talk all day. You know, she might have said something like, I declare, like at one point, and I was just like, that sounds like my grandma from North Carolina. So, so shout out to the USO. Y'all were awesome.
Shout out to the Delta Sky Lounge, especially the one in DFW. Like, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful setup.
And a lesson learned is I can never be in peasantry seats ever again.
Pretty much never again.
First class or nothing for me.
I'm 5'9". I had leg room, like the headrest they folded in, so like you couldn't, like I slept. When I tell you I slept on both of those flights today, I slept so good. So well. Sorry, I slept so well. So amazing.
All right. Hey, y'all, thanks for tuning in. This was awesome. We had a lot of engagement from people in the live streams as well. If you hadn't hit that like button already, like it's doing at the bottom, please hit that like button for the show. We will be back live Monday next week with another episode of the King and Me show. I'm King.
I was hoping he would have forgotten about that.
That's Michelle. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, y'all.
We're out. Bye.
Bye.
And a 3, 2, 1. Which one of these is it? We're going to have to figure this out. There it is. Boom.